this media interaction hosted by TVS Supply Chain Solutions and ALA Group. Thank you for joining us in person and virtually for this important announcement. It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed spokesperson on the dais who will lead today's discussion and announcement. Mr. R. Dinesh, Chairman, TVS Supply Chain Solutions, Mr. Vittorio Genna, Vice President and Co-founder, ALA Group, Mr. Ravi Viswanathan, MD, TVS Supply Chain Solutions, Mr. Romano, CEO of ALA Bina, Mr. Vikas Chadha, Global CEO, TVS Supply Chain Solutions. To begin, I would now like to invite Mr. R. Dinesh, Chairman, TVS Supply Chain Solutions, to deliver the opening remarks.
Thank you and wish all of you good morning. A long time since I met many of you, so thank you for taking the time out to come and spend time. So, and also to those who are joining virtually, hope to catch up with you sometime soon. So for just to start, I think we are now officially announcing this joint venture between TVS Supply Chain Solutions and the ALA Group. But let me first start by introducing and thanking Vittorio Genna, who actually is, as he said, the co-founder of ALA. And he's someone with whom in the last less than 9 months, I think we have developed a very strong and close relationship with. You will hear more about how he has built his business, so I won't talk about that. But interestingly enough, I think we also share a common passion of working with the industry body and he is actually the Italian, one of the board members of the Italian industry body also. So as far as this joint venture is concerned, first of all of you know that from an Indian context, there is a strong focus on what I would call the Atmanirbharta of the aerospace sector. And again, there have been significant investments both in the manufacturing side and also for supporting the production and supply chain requirements for the aftermarket of all of the aerospace sector. On the defense side and also on the private sector side. So as TVS Supply Chain, we have been very strongly focused on the defense business. As we did our first UK acquisition, we have grown the defense business. I think close to about 30% of our revenues come from that sector in UK. And as we've been looking at how do we expand and how do we grow that in the Indian context, I think the aerospace sector was something which was a very good sector for us to look at. The problem or the advantage of the aerospace sector is that there is significant compliance and certification requirements. And it becomes a chicken or egg situation. You have to have a customer before you can go ahead and get the certification done, or you have to actually spend maybe 2-3 years to get the certification done and then go to a customer. So when we have been talking about seeing how we can make this happen in the best manner possible, because ultimately what we want to do is provide the best solution to the customer. So if we keep that as the base, we thought that the best manner would be to find a good partner with whom we can work with. And that's when these discussions with ALA started. As you know, we had signed an MOU, but even as we were discussing on the MOU, we actually went and met a few customers in India, and the response has been significantly positive. The big advantage which this sector has from an entry barrier perspective is that of the certification requirements which I mentioned, and therefore it is a high value add to the customer, and therefore the customers are also willing to pay more, unlike a pure logistics or transportation solutions which we provide. We will be catering to the production supply chain, so it could be for bringing in components into the production. We will also be looking into supporting wherever service requirements or spare parts are concerned. And like I mentioned, it is not restricted to the defense sector. We could be working with MROs, we could be working with anybody else. And basically the relationship is to provide the best solution between TVS and ALA together to those customers. What ALA brings is not just a certification capability. They have very deep relationship with the customers, and you will hear more about that from Vittorio. And those relationships are also going to be transferred to this joint venture which we will set up. It's a 51-49 joint venture, so TVS will be taking the lead. We will be utilizing many of our physical infrastructure, and obviously there will be people training and system integration which will take place. So this work, we believe, will all be done, and we should hopefully be actually starting to do business with our customers as soon as October, November of this year. And we hope that we will also have an entry into the defense sector shortly after that. I want to finish by saying that our actual customer, in many cases, will be the manufacturers who are making either the components or the plane itself in India or elsewhere. And therefore, I want to make clear it's a B2B business. It is not you are not signing a contract with just a defense contract, but it is actually with the plane manufacturer or with the component manufacturer with whom we'll be signing. With that, I will now request Vittorio to give his remarks, and then we'll throw it open for questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for these your words. I would underline that after 9 months we created something. it's like a baby. But anyway, ALA is up to now is the fourth group in the world in terms of our market. Is the multinational company that is focused in Europe. We stay in Italy, France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, UK, US, Israel, and Emirates, and now finally we opened a big and fantastic door here in India. When we meet together, Dinesh and myself, inside the business is a vision. Business means that the businessmen start to smell when the business is the right one or not. And the first is to meet the right guys. When we meet together, we start to smile because we was both Southern men. And I say this is a good thing. Because I think that it's impossible to start business without respect, without empathy, and without the same vision that you have on the table. Up to now, ALA is 35 years that is moving in this very competitive, aggressive, and certificated market. We are present in any kind of defense project, starting from Rafale, Eurofighter, F-18, all Leonardo projects and programs, Lockheed, F-35. We have inside the Camry base, in which there is the final assembly line of F-35. This means that our core business is inside this market area that in the last 3 or 4 years, as you know, is growing up in a very, very fast movement and velocity. When we was born 35 years ago, we started immediately to understand that certification could be a problem for a company, or could be a very big value. Up to today, we are certificated in any kind of process, and we put also a new kind of certification inside our programs, inside our process. There is an instant certification that could be a legal still valid. This means like to have a notary inside the warehouse. This is a part of business that we share with TVS, and we recognize that with TVS we can open and we can create a new kind of business made in India that for us means the big power that we can assure to our business. Imagine that I am the president of Confindustria in Italy. Confindustria is the big association of company, and I represent around 1,000 companies with an aggregate of 40 billion euro of global turnover, just in the southern part of the Italy. I spoke with our Prime Minister considering the channel that we would like to build between Italy and India. And TVS is the right partner, is the right guys, is the right organization to create this channel. This means that Mr. Tajani, our foreign minister, looks at this agreement with a very satisfaction face. And we will have tomorrow a meeting in Delhi with the Italian embassy, but not with the ambassador to the south side. I know because there is a meeting with all the ambassadors in Europe with our organization. And this means that ALA and TVS can have all the right cards to play a very nice game. I think that this is the future. The future is to increase this business that for us the global value is estimated in the next 3 years around $220 million. And this is for us very important. We are looking, starting from India, we can have in the India the quarter for the Far East. This means that Singapore, since Korea, since Japan or others, all the companies, all the airlines, all the defense parts of this country could be our partner. This is a vision, yes, it's a vision. It's a vision because I would like to repeat, vision is based on what the company can put together on the table, and TVS and ALA can put a very strong power inside the mutual business. For this reason, I thanks again TVS, my friends, Dinesh. I would like to thanks all the organization TVS that comes in Italy that I appreciate during my visit in Chennai, and I look for the future in a very nice manner. Thanks again for your presence today, and thanks again. I was writing something, but I ate what my assistant writes. I prefer to go, like an actress. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Genna. We will now move to the exchange of... Yes,
I
sir.
just wanted to add one statement before I forgot. So I think he did mention the number, I just wanted to clarify. So I think our plan and target is to get to 2,000 crore revenue in the next 3 to 5 years. My wish is 3, and of course plan is 5. So we will see how soon we can get there. And I think to add to what Vittorio said of the opportunity, I think with just the manufacturing side and the support requirement itself in India of both the private and the defense together, we see this as actually not just a doable number. I think we are actually being very conservative when we look at the full opportunity. So I just wanted to add that because I didn't mention it in my speech.
Thank you, sir. So we will now move to the exchange of JV agreement folders for a quick photo opportunity. I request Mr. Dinesh and Mr. Genna exchange the agreement.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I think you can just do a handshake or
Handshake.
Thank you. Now we will begin the question answer session. For the benefit of everyone joining virtually, we will take questions from both the room and the online audience. Please introduce yourself and your publication before asking any questions. Over to you, sir. The floor is open for the people who are present here.
Narayan from the Financial Express. Like to start on how big is the market opportunity both in the domestic and international?
See, the overall number which has been mentioned is 12 billion, right? With this the aerospace and the defense sector together. But I think the question for us is, what is exactly the addressable market? I think I don't want to put an exact number to it, but you can assume it's a subset of that 12 billion. That's the way we look at it. And that's why I said 2,000 crores is a very small number.
This is global or Indian?
No, just Indian.
Can you just elaborate on the JV itself? What sort of JV is it and how much investment is being brought into the JV? Okay, some clarity.
So right now we are starting with about 2 million euros, and obviously both partners are happy to invest as much as is required. And don't forget, we are asset-light business, right? So basically we will be utilizing TVS Supply Chain's existing infrastructure, and if required, we will obviously invest in infrastructure. The technology and support can be provided either by one of ALA or of TVS. And ALA has already got most of the inventory available, and we will be using that for the initial period. Once we get to scale, then we have to see how do we start sourcing directly in India.
But of this 2 million, how much are you bringing in?
We are 51% for it, 51-48.
Sir, There are some ongoing defense localization projects in aerospace. We heard about Rafale and a few other. HAL is, I believe, at the forefront of this. What are the immediate term opportunities as part of this deal you see in aerospace? Is it mostly in the defense or in this in other private component supply space also? For example, Safran is aggressively looking at India. So how are you different from the? Would you be partnering with companies like Safran? Just want to check.
Well, we have to consider two aspects. Basically, we have several customers in Europe, like Dassault, Safran, and so on, that they know perfectly that our organization is now on the way to cover in this market, and they are very happy because on the other side they don't have to control so much production and so on. For this reason, yes, there is defense because easily for us, because Dassault is pushing up to us to satisfy the needs coming from their plants. But on the other side, there is all the commercial area, because Safran is not only a defense, Dassault is not only defense, as you know, and this means that the both area will be covered. If I would say from tomorrow morning maybe we have received order for Rafale or Mirage, because they are covering the service provider for them. But on the other side, we are covering the service provider also for Falcon or commercial line that they have. Anyway, defense in this moment is it's stupid to say bullshit. It's the most important part of the market. Consider that Dassault is reaching the rate of 3.5 Rafale per month, like a bread,
So just to go back, I think we can't obviously name the customers yet because we haven't signed, but whomsoever we have met, we have had very positive response. As Vittorio rightly pointed out, I think the private sector, we will be actually serving the private sector. And if they are going to defense, we will also support them, right? So for us, it's the customer is, that's why I said the plane manufacturer or the component manufacturer. When the plane manufacturer tells or gives us the freedom to start sourcing locally, then the different ball game starts. That could be 18 months down the road or 24 months down the road.
So HAL mostly on the certification side, they could be an agency regularly certifying the private players, parts and other.
That is for the manufacturing side. Our job, as I said, is to make those parts available, is to stock those parts, is to make it at the lowest cost, maybe do some sub-assembly if required. All of that is the main work.
With FDA coming in sometime next year, so how crucial is this JV? And also, is it an exclusive arrangement, maybe, or can they also look at some other Indian companies on a similar lines?
Sorry, two very good questions. So I think that's why Vittorio was saying that sitting as, let us say, industry people, we see the FTA as a fantastic opportunity. But right now, this joint venture is only addressing the aerospace and the support to the defense sector for aerospace. The second part of the question,
Exclusivity.
It is 100% exclusive. Both of us are, as he said, I think we produced the baby in 9 months, so I think it's an exclusive marriage. It's not a live-in relationship.
Sir, you mentioned,
Liar is expensive.
sir, you mentioned defense already contributes 30% of your where do you see it going in UK? Where do you see it going with this partnership?
I mean, in India, we don't yet have a strong defense business, right? So we'll be starting only with this joint venture. But I don't want to put a guess estimate on that number. I mean, right, Vikas? I don't think so. I think it'll be very difficult for me to give you an estimate. Obviously, this is a growing sector. Unfortunately or fortunately, the geopolitical scenario of the world means that defense is a very strong focus for every country. The same Atmanirbharta applies to every European country as well. So we do see huge opportunities, and we are obviously continuing to work on those. But to give a percentage, it will be.
So what kind of advantages do you get out of this upcoming FTA? Opportunities or advantage which were not there, what would that be?
It's a very simple way. I mean, three things, and I will ask Vittorio to add if he has any new things. I think the simplest, the first and foremost is ease of doing business. Because the FTA makes all the paperwork simple, clear, no issues of dealing across the board. Second, cost, which I think also you've seen certain items we are lowering costs. But But I think the fundamental, and especially the Italy example or European example, is what I call the strategic partnership agreement. That means you are now opening doors to actually access to systems, access to data, access to information, which I think is completely opening up a different ball game. And that's why, as he says, we look at it as a huge opportunity.
Yeah, it's good. It's on this way. The focal point of this discussion is that the relation that in Europe and the agreement that we have in Europe with all the major manufacturers. And this means that putting on table this relation with Leonardo, with Safran, with Dassault, with Airbus, and so on. This means that for our customer too is an opportunity to open the market for them. And this is a very win-win concentration of business, because they are looking for us like a guarantee of a 100% services. Our OTD, on-time delivery, all over the world is 99.97 in each plant, each customer that we have. This means a guarantee for, let me say, Lockheed for F-35 or Dassault or Airbus or Boeing. And when they are looking where ALA is and when I was with the CEO of Leonardo saying that we are moving to India, he said, wow, fantastic. Not only for us, ALA, but for them too, because they are looking to increase their business. They are the guarantee that now on the back of their business, there is two companies like TVS and the ELA that can satisfy any kind of needs. And for the territory, it's a very interesting situation. You know what I mean? Both aspects.
And I also want to add one thing. I mean, it's early days, so I don't want to give any numbers. But if you look at it from Indian companies, especially the smaller companies, being able to participate in the global tenders is something which I think definitely we will be looking at facilitating going forward. ALA has many cases the buying rights, so they could also potentially source from India. So we will be actually talking to the component companies based in India. Sorry, Ravi, Vikas, you want to add?
But the aerospace and defense industry is still evolving in India, and that is, so it will see an exponential growth. So the current numbers that we were talking about, 12 billion and all, can be very different in nature, because this may involve today sourcing from somewhere, and tomorrow it can be local manufacturing, which can have a lot of value add. So, I mean, the opportunity that is there in front of us for this joint venture is tremendous.
So, prior to this JV, were you in India anyway? How long?
Were you in India before?
No, never. First time in India, and it was very hard to connect our markets with your markets, because there is the boundary that we have in terms of mentality, in terms of presence, in terms of everything. At that time, when we start to imagine that the Far East, where is our potential headquarters in Far East, we started looking to Singapore or Hong Kong or India. There is very difficult, because European company try to open these markets for themselves, but it's not successful at all. I would like also to underline that ALA is the only one aerospace company that has the EAC, the legal certification that I was telling before, and this means a major value you have that for any kind of shipment or guarantee for our customer. That is the first thing that the customer now asks, because there are several occasions of bad business that appears in Europe and the US with fake parts or fake shipment or whatever. In the aerospace, most important is security, not quality. Security means that you must have clear which part of the plane or the helicopter or whatever it's in that moment had the failure, and you are be able to substitute or change the manufacturing lines when appear these things.
What is the rationale of 51-49 instead of 50-50?
First of all, that's actually the requirement for Atmanirbharta in India, right? So if you want to do defense, you have to be a 51% owned Indian company. But I think also the logic behind this is it's not changing the way in which we work. It is just that it's an Indian majority company.
What is the value of this Indian defense logistics market in India? It says it's expected to grow at 8.6%. Is there a value for it?
That's why I said it's about 12 billion right now.
This is the defense logistics.
Defense, aerospace logistics.
Do you currently have a presence in that space already?
No.
So
Not
even
in India.
TVS is stepping
Not
in.
in India.
And how many years have you been present in Europe? Is it
Europe and UK,
In the
almost from 2008 itself, so it's a long time now.
Yeah, almost 20 years.
And how do you view this space? I mean, it's taken you quite some time to actually enter the space in India for TVS. So how do you view this?
So I think Vikas actually answered that question because, go ahead.
The entry barriers are fairly high in terms of establishing. So one option is that we go ahead and get into the certification process, etc. Here we have a partner who has done this and experienced this, has the relationships with the OEMs globally. So it's a much easier way to, enter. And as I said earlier, this is evolving right now. And, all the Indian companies are setting up their defense arms, and a lot of localization is going to happen. A lot of new programs are going to start. HAL will be a part of some of those programs. There will be independence programs as well. So I think the timing of this is perfect from our perspective.
So to put the other way around, actually the market was very nascent. So it is right now that I would say maybe last 2 years is when we have seen all the announcements come of the local manufacturing and local production taking place here.
And for
What is
Ala,
the group, sir? Ala, how big is Ala Group? What is the revenue in 2025, total revenue?
and just to add as well, can you give us a share of your business from different regions across the globe as well?
Okay. Our closed the 2025 around 350 million euro. We approved the industrial plan that is the right figure for 2025 was got. The next 3 years and 4 years, so we reached the 1 billion and 1 billion 200, 1 billion 300 million euro. Now our most important competitor in the markets is an American company. The most important, the three most important competitors are American company because they invented. Wright brothers was American, not absolutely Italian or French or wherever, and they invented the airplane. For this reason, everything is on their side. But anyway, joke aside, three most important competitors, they don't have a stable organization in India. Three important geographies.
Geographies for your for Allah.
And if we will, and our vision is this one, we can create the first stable organization in Far East in India. That is the most important country here. This means that it will be a boost for all the business. For this reason, Dinesh and myself, when we start to speak about this vision and this idea, what we underline it, that is not only defense. It is in the vision of the business totally different. It's a defense, it's industry, it's aerospace, it's a space. Everything is connected. You have to imagine that the satellite is a very good business because you sell the parts one time, the second time again. Means that the space economy is not yet touched by our company, but our markets only for few small figures, small. And imagine that there is the submarine markets, there is a weapon market, there is the new drones market, not only for the military and defense area. We are looking for any kind of business in which logistical approach that TVS has and the expertise in this area ALA has can be combined and create a very nice business occasion for both companies.
Existing.
Pardon. We was born in Italy. We was born in Naples, fantastic city for tourists, not for job. Absolutely. Pizza, mandolino, nice girl, sorry, and so on. But and our first company, the first customer historically was Alenia Finmeccanica, now Leonardo Group. Now Leonardo, when the company started growing up, was more or less 95% of the total revenue. Now Italy and Leonardo is less than 30%. Most important, the same important is Dassault. The same one are Airbus, Boeing, Lockheed, and so on. This means that the major area today is Europe, concentrated in Spain. There is Sintersa, it's our manufacturer cable and connectors, which we are not speak at all. But there is a future that's looking for that market. Second, there is France, absolutely. Airbus and Dassault can become a huge customer for us. Leonardo, because you know that Leonardo in India has several connections in terms of business, in terms of customer and so on. MBDA is a big customer too. For this reason, European area is the most important. Second is the US. US is the most important market all over the world. It's more than 3,000 customers at least. 3,000 with dimensions that are very interesting for us, and not also to look for the MRO business in terms of Singapore, where is the most important headquarters for ATR maintenance. Imagine that every 32 seconds an ATR takeoff. It's a very popular, very economic. You have to imagine that it's economic airplane that any small airlines can buy it and can use and fulfill of 70 people in a quick in a moment. You know, if you look everything, you see that ALA position is jeopardized. Today with TVS and TVS with ALA can cover in an industrial way all the parts of both markets: commercial, aerospace, defense, space. 3 weeks ago, I bought the I don't know if you know it or if you ever see the fucking table, a small table from Elon Musk for the satellite. I put that stupid antenna in my house on the mountains. Works. And it's very cheap. It's the future.
Thank you.
Sir, when is this JV likely to begin operations and will it be headquartered here in Chennai?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, we have to complete the certification requirements. The moment it is done, we are all set to go. I don't know, October?
Yeah, it should take us another 2-3 months to get it fully operational and onboarded as well with experienced people from the industry. Yeah.
And location will be dependent on the customer, because supply chain, as you know, is we have to work closely with the customer. So wherever the customer wants us to be present, we will be present. The company will be headquartered in Chennai, but the business can be.
And also the statement says that defense business can be highly margin accretive. You can explain that in comparison to other business.
So, I mean, typically supply chain logistics, as you know, is say 4 to 5% maximum you can make. But in a business which is high, in this category, you could be in 8 to 10% PBT margin, not EBITDA margin. So EBITDA is much more higher. And the other advantage it gives is, like Vittorio mentioned, because it's very difficult for the certification. So they are all long-term contracts. So you get both.
Long gestation.
Long gestation, but it's very difficult to get the certification. Therefore, you have very difficult to also dislodge you.
Since we have the CEO of the MENA region here, I mean, with what's happening there, which is quite unfortunate, what kind of an impact are you seeing on your business, and how does TVS view the same as well? We'd probably like to have your view.
So, in terms of the impacts of in the MENA, nevertheless, what you see in the news, the UAE, the MENA region is strengthening up, considering all ongoing activity. And the investments and injection of capital is very high in order to, which has been a reflection also of the political engagement of UAE among other countries with Italy and Europe in general. So we see opportunities ahead of us. And the line of connection in between Italy, Europe, the Middle East, UAE specifically, and India becomes stronger and stronger over time, and been in the news by all our representative prime ministers and presidents confirming that kind of direction of travel.
So how much employment does JV give people?
It's actually the tough question. I was expecting that question. So maybe I don't know whether Ravi or Vikas wants to answer, I guess.
Let me start it. Look, it all depends on the success of a particular program. If you think of this JV is largely going to serve either some new localized programs that are coming up in India, established by Indian companies. It's also going to do a lot of the aerospace sector and the MRO repairs and aftermarket as well. So it is a function of a new program getting embedded. If we embed into a new program which is coming up as the market opens up, then
it'll be in hundreds.
It'll be in hundreds. But if it is to start with the part supply, etc., then we'll be minimal. So it all depends how we scale up. Yeah.
Eventually, is the scope of you being MRO kind of player, is there any chance of extending this to a bigger?
It's a reverse. So actually, we'll support the MROs.
Yeah.
Because the spare parts
I
requirement.
understand, but eventually, would you yourself become an
Right now, that's not the intent. The intent is to work.
I'm talking about 5 years on.
No, that way we are today in automobiles, but we don't make automobiles. So we are a supply chain player, and our strength is in warehousing, in technology, in supply management, and tracking of the products, etc. And that is something that we will bring to this sector as well.
So maybe sorry, because maybe we will talk about that wearing a TVS mobility hat on a later date.
Yeah.
So right now, this joint venture will focus on supporting the MROs on spare parts. But just to go back to your employment number, because I think I want to clarify that. The joint venture will leverage the TVS Supply Chain Solutions infrastructure and assets, right? So similarly, wherever we have, let us say, surplus capacity, we will utilize that because that's the best cost solution for the customer. So, but as Vikas said, if you sign a program, then it is a significant number. And right now, at least the customer interest is quite high to look at that as well.
So the expansion of physical infrastructure will also depend on the customer acquisition.
See,
Or will the existing
our
client-
entire supply chain business from day one is dependent on the contracts which we sign with customers. We are not one to build infrastructure and wait for customers.
Yeah. I think your question did not get answered, so I would like to answer your question that the impact so far has been absolutely minimal. Whatever inflation we have seen in terms of fuel surcharges, etc., we have been able to pass to the customer, and so very minimal impact. And as such, as TVS Supply Chain Solutions, we don't have direct presence in the Middle East region. Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us today, both in person and virtual. We appreciate your time and interest. Yeah, thank you again.
Thank you. So let me add my personal thanks. Thank you.
Thank you so much.